morning. Welcome to XBUILD webinar series. My name is Vladimir Gumiller, and I'm director of the construction cluster of Slovenia, one of the 6 partners of the XBUILD project. Today we will have a webinar on green technologies, focusing on the construction, built environment. And at the beginning, I will also present the second call of the XBUILD, which should be published today. And not to waste more time, I will just start. Today we will have three presentations. I will present the circular economy in construction, addressing all the decarbonization, sustainability. Then there will be a circular construction example from Slovenia, presented by Alenka Malko from the ZAK National Building Civil Engineering Institute. And last but not least will be Mr. Uroš Gunčar from NETS.do, a company talking about ESG reporting and the tool which can help them, which can help companies to perform this task more easily. So let's go to my presentation. Few words about the project. It's one of the 30 Euro clusters, and it supports cross-fertilization across textile, construction, and advanced technologies, and deploy green solutions. So what are those green solutions? That is the subject of today, let's say, webinar. So you will know what are sort of eligible application for the call, which is published, as I said, today. There are 6 partners from Europe working in this project together, leading by a textile from Spain, and the main element, let's say, outcome or result or a service we provide are the so-called cascade funding calls, which are in this case 2 calls, and with 3 subjects: innovative products, internationalization, and green and digital transition. Actually, these are implemented in 2 calls. As I said, one is already finished. Also, the project have been supported and finished, and now we are publishing the second one today. And more information can be, of course, reached at the website and by other means. And the best thing to do is to ask your cluster how to deal with the application and how to prepare the application for this call as good as possible, that you will be then awarded with financial support to third parties. This second call is, as I said, published today. I don't know if this is the case already or it will be during the day. And the important second day is October the 2nd, where there will be a deadline, 5 p.m. Central European time, so be sure to be online. And the rest are also there. So the project will be ending at the end of March 2025. There are 3 grants: innovative grant with budget of 140k of euros, and 7 SMEs will be supported. Green and digital grant will be supported with collaborative project, 5 projects with 2 SMEs. And this instrument is aimed at the adoption of technologies, processes, and the first one is focusing on innovation, and the third one is support for internationalization, and the target countries are Middle East countries. As I said, more information can be reached on the XBUILD website, and the application will be managed through the grant platform online, So no paper or other type of submission. Only the platform is there, and you can now start thinking what can be a subject of your application, and maybe some hints from my side within this presentation. Circular economy, we all know what is this. There is a lot of talking about that, a lot of knowledge also, and also learning example and practices. Let's see it from some other perspective, from the construction perspective. What we do in construction, actually, we change the environment a lot. And some of the pictures you can see that we are really, really very active in making these changes in environment. And we must say that we are also always sort of innovative and sustainable. We started using natural materials, what was there in resource efficient way. Also wood, for example, this is some settlement in Ljubljana in our town. And we used some architects already used some waste construction materials, also example from the Ljubljana, from the church designed by architect Plečnik. So we are working within the natural limits, but we used to work coming to really nice designs and buildings, but we are reaching the limits of our environment. And probably you know this sentence, which is in all applications for EU funding, that construction makes a lot of resources, uses a lot of resources and so on, so forth, make waste and so on. And this is actually the truth. But we are coming to a limit of the nature. And this is actually the reason to step away from this linear process and go more circular. And this means that we have to do something about it. And actually, I checked this circularity gap report. Things are not going well. There is a lot of like words, a lot of talking. 3 times have the number of articles and everything promoting the circular economy increased in last years. This is good news because this is also the message from today. There is a lot of resources which can be used to build skills, to see what you can do in the circular transition. But overall, we are still declining in terms of using secondary materials, or and mainly we are consuming more and more. I will skip this one. There are many tools, as I said at the beginning, to understand circular economy, like 10 R's: disrupt, resolve. So I will not go in depth in this. You can use it and start in many areas of those methodologies. But if we go to, let's say, a circular construction ecosystem, we can see a couple of things which are very important. There are many stakeholders which need to be involved in, let's say, circular construction ecosystem, because buildings and infrastructure is a little bit specific. The life cycle is long, and there are a lot of resources used to build and maintain the built infrastructure. So in terms of focus, there are 3 areas which should be sort of stressed. This is circle design strategies, circle design in general. If it's not designed, it cannot be built. And there we have to apply the circle economy principle. Design for longevity, adaptability, disassembly. Disassembly, so all those words are coming in all those schemes I talked before. Then there are circle materials, uh, because there is a lot of materials and component used in buildings, so we have to minimize the use, maximize the reuse uh, um, to reach the circle economy objectives. And then we must go beyond this through to sustainable circle construction, which add a social and economic perspective to it. So we cannot talk only about materials. We have to take care of the people, of the use, uh, assuring high level of quality of life for users in offices or in apartments. So this adds a little bit more complexity to the circularity in general. As I said, there are many articles which talk what can be done. This is from the same like article, same magazine. This is like some of topics which can be addressed if you do something, if you plan to do something in managing construction demolition waste during execution. They are for design, they are for end of life. So it's very easy to find basic step what to do in this circle transition, with a lot of references, examples, and best practices described in those articles. I would stress here one thing: the implementation process. It can start with the changing mindset. It should start with changing mindset, awareness, building some circle skills. This is again possible because there is so many information online, and there are a lot of trainings available. But I would say that there is one part which is called use of common sense and good engineering planning or design, using the principle of circle economy. You don't need something special. You have to use the common sense, and you can do a lot if you have a right mindset and some basic skills in circle economy. But then the next step is a little bit more challenging. When you get to these novelties, you need to innovate. You bring these technologies to new innovative products, even develop them. So here the things are a little bit more challenging. The construction sector tend to be rigid, novelties not well accepted, products which are materials which are used for centuries or decades are proof, and the risk of using or applying some new materials or solutions is hard to do. So here comes the cross build. You can get financial support for technology transfer, adoption of technologies type of project. This is green and digital voucher. And for innovation, developing and bringing new solutions to market, this is innovate voucher, which was presented at the beginning. So we address this I would say the close to market activities and project of the SMEs. Few words about decarbonization. Actually, these two concepts are closely related. If you eliminate waste and pollution, you reduce green gases. If you circulate products, you retain the embodied energy. If you regenerate nature, you sequester carbon, and so on and so forth. So these two concepts are closely related, and this is really valid for the construction. Circle economy, SEG. Circle economy is about decoupling in economic activities from consumption of finite materials. And ESG is about reporting, assessing the company's impact and sustainability practices regarding environment. So if you're applying the circular economy, you can report well in ESG reporting. It means that if you are a supplier, your customer, your partner, your contractor will be happy about it because he will be able, or it will be able to report that he supply the circular solutions. If you are obliged to report, you can put this into your environmental practices. So circular economy has many benefits also for the company as such, and more on that we will hear later. Some conclusions. Circular economy is key for sustainable growth. That's what I would like to say. And we have to do something about it. This is for sure. Green building, energy efficiency, decarbonization, zero carbon, smart building, and circular construction are closely related. As I already said, there are many topics, articles, approaches, methodologies, explanations, training that can be used to support you in circular transition. But you need raise your awareness and build some skills and change your mind in this regard. And this can be on low level or on high level. You can do it within your organization. You can implement the circular economy print in your product services, and you can help your customers to make their products more circular. And this is very important in the construction value chain because there are many actors within the value chain which need to collaborate to bring at the end sustainable and also circular buildings to user on the market. It's new model in construction. It brings a lot of changes to some extent to this value chain. And I would say at the end that you can get a lot of help if you are working closely with clusters and also get financial support within the Eurocluster funding. And hopefully there will be a next series of Euroclusters in the next year, so you can apply also in the next years. So this is all from my side. I will thank you for developing circular solution, and I'm inviting you to go and apply for the XBUILD call. Now it's time for Alenka. Let's see if she's with us because I cannot. Alenka, can you open your mic? No, I don't see her for now. So I will then invite Mr. Uroš Gunčar from NEPDO to present his presentation, and I will meanwhile contact Alenka if there is some technical problem in joining the session. So Uroš, you're welcome. NEPDO is also a member of our cluster, and they received the support in the first call of the XBUILD. Uroš, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hello. Can you see my video, which I share now?
I must stop sharing. Stop sharing. Now you can share.
Okay, then I have to go again. Now it's okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Presentation of sustainability reporting.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's our company. We're doing over last 30 years on process level to consult companies how to improve their processes. And when this directive for sustainability reporting starts, we develop also supporting for how to support this reporting. Last year, I got certificate for life cycle assessment, which is really important. If you don't have insight in this, I believe it's difficult to be expert on this sustainability area. And also I studied European sustainability reporting standards, which are really complex. I spent more than half a year on this. And in that level, well, this is this Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, which I will not go in deep. Also, I will not go in deep about this European Green Deal, but this is base for this directive. What we made here is trying to make this really friendly for companies. We made this support, and here you see 5 most important parts. One, of course, this European Sustainability Reporting Standards, and then 3 principles: value chain, and also double materiality and due diligence. So, and then is reporting itself, and everything you have to accomplish to come to the end to have appropriate report under this directive. When we go on, what is main aim, the goal of making this reporting more business friendly? I mean, those standards are so complex, and we made this easier to understand companies which have to report under this directive, because I don't believe people have enough time to study all those standards. Second, we make approach from processes, because companies know very well their processes. And when they have to when they approach from their processes, it's much easier for them. You know very well what are impacts in your processes, what are risks, what are opportunities, and there's, from the first start, there is no need to know everything about standards. Then it's really good support for assessing the materiality of impacts, so double materiality assessment, risks as well, and opportunities. So that you really focus on the content, not on the structure. The structure is sometimes very complex. I will show you later more. And then it's also good support for due diligence process, because now companies will have to make due diligence for their main customers, suppliers, and also main customers. So what is not in their area of working, but what is upstream and downstream. And also there is good support for preparing this report in itself, where you have all-time overview of everything what is still not finished and what has to be done, and also the amount of work completed. When you have such support, it's much easier to focus on what has to be done, not that you will trying to find something around. Like, I mean, I'm a pharmacist, And when I started on this area of IT support, I asked myself why it's so easy for us. We are so flexible and we can do whatever we have to do because our brains are so good that there is no need to search for something. If you have good memory, you can have really a big amount of data what you need at that moment. Let's go for those standards. What we made here, although these are those standards, it's really complex. Each company has to report for these gender disclosures, climate change, own workforce, and business conduct. For the others, 7 depends on what you are doing. For instance, construction, building areas has to, of course, you have workers in the value chain, you have many suppliers, you have customers. Sometimes you have affected communities. When you have this, you have to report also under this European System SRS S3 standard. Also, you have end consumers. If you have pollutions, I don't know, but in any always resource use and circular economy. Sometimes biodiversity and ecosystems. You can use water, but not so much, and I don't know, marine resources. So it depends on how big the organization is, if they have to report also on all standards. Maybe go back, these specific standards were coming later. They thought this year, but I don't believe this will come out 2025. I don't know, maybe 2026, because it's a big task, and so far I believe that these standards will come for building construction in 2026. So in this module in DNA for compliance, we have really overview of all standards and models, and also overview of all requirements for disclosure. Now, this is, for instance, from a picture from a slide from our this IT platform. You have all standards. And also, you have really for each of them, this construction. It's not just one big PDF file, but we put this in a really structured way, because all standards have objective and basis for preparation, but then governance. What is role of high management, and also other important levels in the organization. Then it's I'm sorry. Then what is connected to strategy? Then everything. What is about impacts, risk, opportunities management, and metrics and targets. So this is the same structure in all standards. And then we have put out of all disclosure requirements. So now you have really overview for the whole standard, and also which requirements is from what part of the standard. Here is a list of all the requirements, which are 103 if you have to report under all these European sustainability standards, many of them, and each of such a disclosure requirement has short description, what is the target objective, and also reporting template. This one is really short. Normally, reporting template is about from half A4 format to 2 pages. And in this reporting template, you have everything you have to report, and also instructions, what has to be reported, text, what has to be reported, like a number, in tables. This is just a case, but normally it's bigger, this template. And then when you have to report about this requirement. For instance, here are targets related to climate change mitigation and adaptation. Then you have really all support there and many examples as well. And also you have direct connect to all text in standard, which is connected with this requirement. But what I believe it's better to go from value chain, because study all standards will take you too much time. And so value chain is, here is value chain is principle, and you have what are you doing in your company, this is scope 1. What is up and downstream, this is scope 3, and connected with the production of energy like electricity and so on is scope 2. When I believe that, and what we've done here is we build different business models where you have really overview of all resources, energy, emissions, wastes, and so on, which are related to environmental and social perspective. So here I have first view is architecture of our processes. This is our company. And you have also stakeholders, all important stakeholders, which are like ecosystem of our company. And in this ecosystem, you put general information about your company, and also in processes, what are resources, raw materials, emissions, wastes, products, and services. And here is another view. View is here is circle business model. For instance, this procurement, production, logistics, maybe marketing is scope 1. Everything after is scope 3. Here is energy. What is here is scope 2, and also sometimes for raw materials is also scope 3. When you have this picture and you it's very easy to chart this. Now you have this list of all processes which are important for your business model, which one is scope 1, 2, and 3. And on business level, you choose what are really impacts, which is, I don't know, in this energy production, for instance, is one of our customers. They produce energy, but maybe this is not the best. Maybe is this a casting process, because, well, you put, you choose what are all impacts and also what are risks and the opportunities in this process, because people know their process very well. And when you have also their different lists of impacts in advance, for instance, we put climate-related hazards. You have, I believe, 39 of them. Some of them are chronic, some of them are acute, some of them are temperature-related, some of them are wind-related, some of them are water-related. And when you have this list of all such impacts, and you know, okay, now my process, which are important for my process. For instance, now it's one of our customers, they supply fresh water and they are near the sea. For them is rise of sea level important hazard which will come in the future. For Slovenia, where we have last year flood, this is really important hazard you have to take in account. And when you have all this list of all hazards which are from climate related, which can be important for you, and you choose any of them which are important, then you have all these impacts are also connected to different these European standards and also of different disclosure requirements. So there is no need to know all standards, but what is important then, you choose them from your perspective, from process perspective. For instance, maybe you have a production industry and you have pollutants in the air, in the water, in the land, and when you choose from this list, because there is really European hazards, how you call, it's not list, but register, which are 93 of them. And really, you have all which are important. And of course, if you know your business, you know that you have some heavy metals. You through your process, are emissions in the air or maybe in the land as well. And just you choose this impact, and yeah, it's much easier to do through your processes than through standards. So the second is double materiality and risk. Impact, risk, and opportunity assessments. When you choose those impacts and also risks in your processes, then all those impacts go in second module where you have to assess them. First, impacts you have to assess from two perspectives. What are, for instance, if you have this emission of heavy metals in the air, then you have to assess what is this impact on the environment and also maybe on people, on their health. So this is one part of double materiality, and vice versa. The second part is community or social, also impacts on the company because of this. Maybe there are high taxes because of this, or maybe there will be other maybe people change their mind, their requirements for your product, because if you pollute the air or pollute the land, maybe this will be really you will get feedback from the market and you will lose. So you have to assess also this part. So these are double materiality assessment of all impacts, because impact is something what is going all the way. Risk is something what can be, there is probability, yes or no. And so this is, risk is not the same as impact, and also opportunities. When you assess all this in this module, you know what is important and what is not important. First, here is list of all risk factors or impacts. Also, you really see is this social dialogue is connected with two standards. Then you have also all the topics. And this is importance. If it's important, very important or critical, this must be incorporated in your report. If it's not important, then you just, in disclosure or requirement, you just put, okay, we assess this and the impact or the risk is not important. And that's all, maybe one sentence. If this is not the case, if it's important or very important or even critical, then you have to make what are your actions you done already or what you intend to do in the future. And maybe if there is appropriate, you put also a goal connect with this. To go one step further, for instance, all impact, you have to assess impact, then scope and remediability. So you have three different scales. And from 0 to 5. And what I saw so far, I saw it also in my customers, at least 8 examples where different consultants consult about how to assess this. And this is, if you assess something, you must put there what are conditions, what are values you assessed against, for instance, drinking water consumption. Okay, when you will assess this from 0 to 5, it's if you put here, okay, I am in Slovenia, where drinking water in that area is not very important. Okay, this is, I will assess this differently. And also, what the average consumption of drinking water in Europe, maybe what is the average in Slovenia. If I am higher than the average, then I believe I will assess 3 or even 4. If I'm really low consumption, much lower than the average, then I will say, okay, 1. This is why this is the, if you don't have arguments, how did you and why did you assess something? I believe when there will be revision of those reports, companies will have problems. And but with our support, you really have good suggestions assessed against what, and when you assessed 1, 2, 3, or even higher. So it's easier. So then you can really focus on your content and not on the structure, which can be difficult, because in the standard, you don't have really clear when you assess this is important or not. Then, for instance, here is this impact emission when you make an assessment. For instance, this is your form view. All impacts are really, when I choose this impact from our lists, which I choose them at my processes, then I have really automatically connection of this impact with 3 disclosure requirements. So there is no need for me to think, oh, in which part of the report I have to mention this impact, what I have to, because I have already on all these 3 disclosure requirements template, and there is everything what I report there. So there is no need for me to think about the standards. What do I have to report there? But just to be focused on what I know about the impact. And when I have those templates, it's really easy for me. If I know my business, then it's easy for me to make a report.
Sorry to interrupt you, but we are running out of time, so we have another presentation. Can you slowly finish
Okay, I
yours?
will go faster. I will go faster. It's very similar with risks. You have really good overview of all risks, and also a view of risk factors, and also what is important or not. I will skip this, and also now we'll skip this reporting itself. Create this report. I just click on this report. That's all, and DNA will make a report with all templates in it. And also this report later on will be automatically conversed in this format, which is required by European single electronic format. And also now this is just this part of climate change. It's very easy. You know immediately where are you, and also how far are you, and at the end just click export. So then you have in PDF or in a format which is needed to put it at this European this point where you have to report. It's really, and all the way you know all actions which are important to fulfill to have this report, because during the first phase, when you put impacts in the processes, sometimes here I don't know what is really, let's open an action. Then you have this double materiality assessment and also due diligence, which I skipped. It's also good support for due diligence, especially in construction building. You will have to make due diligence of your main suppliers and main customers, and also stakeholder groups, which are important for the business. And so now we are at the end. What are really benefits? I already mentioned some of them. We made this complex situation less complex. Then you will have time savings. I believe at least 1/2 of time savings, less needs for internal experts, and also at the end, when you have to correct something, it's very easy to because you can correct any part of the report and you have immediately a new table of content, and there is no need to put time and effort for this for structure, but just to be focused on what is important. And European taxonomy, it's also put in European taxonomy because especially this is important for building, construction industry. You have all goals which are important for you. You have these goals. So whatever they are doing must be substantial contribution to at least one of those 6 goals, and in the same time not harm any one of other 5 of them. Well, we have also support for this, and but I believe this is this. I will skip this. It's not time enough. Maybe it's any question, or Vladimir, now I really make fast.
Yes, thank you very much, Uroš. Yes, there is some time for question because this is really specific presentation. Probably it will be hard in half an hour to ask a specific question, or 20 minutes we have available for the next presentation. So you can make any question to Uroš, please do.
Maybe,
maybe I have a question. What is how it will be, or when it will be obligation to report, to do these reports for businesses in construction?
Well, big companies which have to fulfill two requirements, one more than 250 employees, they on turnover more than 40 millions, or assets 20 millions. So 2 of these, and then they have to report for the year 2025 first time. For this year, which is now, they have to report only building constructions which are on delnički
Stock market.
Stock market, which are stock market and have a company which has more than 500 employees. So if the company is in the stock market with more than 500 employees, then such company has to report for this year. So till end of March, for instance, next year, they have to report, this is the report for this year, 2024. Otherwise, they will have to report for 2025. But later on, also all companies also these small companies and mid-sized companies which are on stock market, they will have to report for this.
So
Maybe
according
this will change.
to the requirement and quite, challenging and demanding reporting, it's important that suppliers and partners bring sustainable solutions, circular solution to market, and this will be also advantage for them because the partner will be more happy to do business with them, and this will enable them to make these reports in a good way. So this is one of the additional, let's say, advantages ongoing circular. So if there is no further questions, I will give floor to Alenka Malko-Pranic from ZAC, National Civil Building Engineering Institute from Ljubljana, to present some of projects, activities in circular construction in Slovenia within different projects they are working or coordinating. Alenka, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. Just to start with my presentation. Okay, I think you can see it now. And I'm sorry also for the confusing time. So thanks to the speaker, Mr. Uroš Gunčar, to take over. I'm also happy to hear this presentation, which you just shared, maybe with this comment that also in the construction sector, we are quite preparing for it because even a small and medium-sized entities, as usually are construction companies, are part of the value chain. So, and also we as researchers, we are have to follow the value chain. So everybody has to do much more, be active in this field of the sustainable reporting. And I think this is one big momentum for establishing circular economy practices. So this is my presentation of my talk. I will say, I will talk just very, let's say, helicopter view of the circular construction in Slovenia, some of the barriers that we were meeting, or we are meeting, but also, like, I would like to emphasize that I think just now, this time with the European Directive on Sustainable Reporting, with the renewal of the Green Public Procurement, seeing some of the large infrastructural investors making best practices in the circular construction, we see a sudden momentum which was not there like 10 or 20 years ago when we started to do in these activities. So we are very happy for this, and I hope also with the development of new legislation, also on the European level, new construction product regulation, etc. So just a few words about my institute. I come from the Slovenian National Building and Civil Engineering Institute. Beside the central building in Ljubljana, we have also two smaller exposures, one in Maribor near Austria border, and a brand new fire testing laboratory nearer to Italian border. We are a public research institute, but we do research and development activities, but also market activities. So we are, for example, notified body. We do attestation for construction products, different types of, not just according construction product regulation, but also other legislation. For example, we are also issuing environmental product declarations. And we have we are around 260 employees right now, and just this year we are celebrating 75th anniversary from our establishment. First, I will talk about why construction sector is the sector which needs attention in the sense of the sustainability and circularity. So this is a quite old, now 2005 years old study from the OECD, which showed that the projection for 2060 that the use of the aggregates, as we can say, to sand, gravel, and crushed rock until 2055 will double. And this is like the larger quantity of materials, the larger mass flow of the materials. Because of why is this happening? Well, there are two reasons. One is intensive population, intensive urbanization. There will be a lot of people living in the cities, and there is big demand for the construction activities. And although we try to green it as much as possible, construction sector, these projections of 2018 said that after 2030 there will be real takeoff of the using of this secondary raw material, more modular construction, and we can see probably why is this happening, because we have so many issues with using some old materials or recycling materials, but also because maybe what we always say, construction is quite traditional sector. Another with having some problems of adopting new technologies. But another momentum, just to add what I said in the introduction words, is that now what we are facing, beside the circular economy, the same speed advancement we can see in digitalization. And digitalization is quite important for the automatization, digitalization. So all this stuff is quite important also for the construction sector, and works hand in hand with the circular economy, because increased traceability and transparency of material flows, and also it measures better what are our impacts of our building, of our infrastructure. So yeah, there are some statistics, some reports showing that we build each day 784 new houses in Europe and 127 kilometers of new roads each day in Europe. Another issue, what I currently see, and we still have to step over it, is that not just the research, but I think also the policy and government, and some part also the industry, although I think the industry is not so much separated in individual silos, maybe partly, but we are facing with the regulation. We see that and also with the research, like I said, there is a lot of silos. So we are talking about the energy efficiency separately from the circular construction. We are talking about decarbonization, but we can also improve sustainability with carbon capturing, with carbonatization of some of the products. And you can see sometimes in the course, for example, of the European Union, they try to put it together, but I think that's quite an issue, how to meet with the different areas of the construction together. So at the end, we have one building, we have one road, and we need to think about holistically, so how to make it at the CO2 decreasing, but at the same time, how this is coupled with the materials, and how the materials can contribute to this. And yeah, we have this traditional separation of the buildings. A lot of the things have for a long time talked about the sustainability in buildings, mainly with an energy efficiency, now with the circular economy. And we have the infrastructure sector, when we know that there are large quantities of materials. So it is worth to think first in infrastructure, and infrastructure sector is catching up also with the buildings in the sustainabilities. So what I think is very important when establishing a circular construction and innovation ecosystem is that you have all of the parties working together, from the research institute, industry, non-governmental organization, government, and also with the investment and funding of new technologies. And I'm really happy I didn't give a special focus to this, that in Slovenia we have so-called deep demonstration project. And something what was after the one outcome of these meetings that we have different stakeholders after 2 years, I think, is that we need a translation between the governments, between the public governments and the sector and research, and also all these European funding results, because there is sometimes discrepancy between. And another momentum, I think, currently on the national level is, like I said, this all the push coming from the European Union about the increasing sustainability of our processes. I will not dwell this. Also, it's it's in Slovenian language, but mostly sometimes people say, why recycling in the construction? So this is not a part of the circular economy. But many times we say, yeah, but it's low-hanging apple, which we can very much easy dip into, because we have this large quantity of materials. And yeah, if we cannot reuse it, we don't have a real legislation for the reuse of the construction products, and how to establish constancy of their essential properties. But there are also now other systems building up, like, for example, also this design to deconstruct is a very important aspect of this. Okay, so we can recycle if I go to the lowest level of the circular economy, but the highest level of the European Waste Framework Directive. So we can recycle different materials, not just construction and demolition waste, but very important are some waste from thermal processes like slags, fly ashes. They also sometimes have a very good binding activities, but especially we can see in these last 2 years, the ashes are important also for carbon capturing. We have mining waste, we can, so different agricultural waste which we can use in the construction. So example, we can, with this industrial symbiosis, I mentioned the CO2 capturing, we can also produce not just wood, which is capturing a lot of the CO2, or for example, hemp, which is very now also popular in Slovenia and in Europe, but using some gas, using ashes, for example, we can capture, or the cement, supplementary cementitious materials, we can also store CO2. What is important is cascade recycling. So I'm showing one of our example from the Restore project of the using red mud from the aluminium production. So here we have some, what can be on one hand toxic compounds, but it can also be on the other hand critical or valuable minerals. So it is important to use this thinking of the cascade recycling, getting out what is valuable, even critical for Europe, and then use one inert, once the waste is inert in the construction sector as alternative materials. A very much important thing, using materials, we have to, old materials, we always have to look for the hidden hazards. I'm showing one example of an old building in Slovenia. On the left side, very much known asbestos, which can be present in different ways, not only in the roof tiles. And on the right side, why the construction wood cannot be just reused or remanufactured, because in case of this finishing layer, we have 3% of this zinc content, which make it, and you can imagine what happens if you grind the surface and try to reuse. I'm slowly coming to the end. So here is one infographic, quite old also, but just to have, we have a very large, broad spectrum to think about for the circular economy, in the sense of the new policies, initiatives, and regulation. I'm very happy that so much is happening. But then also it's a question always how to prove that our construction products or construction works are really sustainable. So we know many of the already established certification scheme for the buildings, like BREEAM, also for the infrastructure, some of them, DGNB levels, European one, but also on the level of the products. We have environmental product declaration, which Zaki is also issuing, and on the level of the innovative technologies, we have as ISO standardized environmental technology verification, something which you can also address us about. So the life cycle information is very important. One of the projects in Slovenia is also Life Care for Climate, where Zak was helping to develop sustainability indicators for sustainable construction, which we hope can also enter the new Green Public Procurement Regulation. I mentioned the ETV. So, for example, there are examples for carbon capturing technology verification. And there is also new EC certification scheme called Quality. Something is going on. Well, this page was removed, I see, but recently. But there is Europe is trying to do a holistic scheme for the carbon capturing and carbon removal, so that there is no greenwashing, or there is the same methodology how to calculate. Just a few things about our project. So one of the ongoing project is Rebuild Interact Central Europe, which Zak is coordinating. Is talking about circular and digital renewal of Central European construction building sector. You're much invited to follow us. One of the project is one of the outputs of the previous project is so-called Cinderos, a Cinderella one-stop shop service for the circular construction, which we are upgrading in one circular infrastructure project called Horizon Europe Liaison, and also in the Rebuild project. In the Restart Life EPA Restart project, we are thinking about the digital product passports. And yeah, this is our map of the previous 5-year, let's say last 5-year projects of our group in the circular economy, which can come from the mining residues to the processing residues to design and new, like for example, 3D printing, new methodology with recircular with recircular materials up to the implementation, yeah, and end of life. Yeah, thank you very much. I hope I was not too long, but maybe some of the things, yeah, which you would like to discuss with us also further. So don't hesitate to contact us, or maybe give also a short question now if we have time.
Lenka, thank you. Thank you very much for this presentation. There is so much ongoing in Zak, so it's hard to put in this 20 minutes. If there is any questions, please just ask them. Ask Lenka about it. She's very open and collaborative and active in the circular economy in Slovenia. So probably she knows a lot about this.
So much, but yeah, still
Yes.
learning.
No, we are all learning all the time. Yeah, of course. Any question? Carolina. No, she's just uploading.
Yeah,
So
maybe just to
I have
follow
a
up.
question, Alinka.
Yeah.
Tell me your experience, how this works with Slovenian companies. You work together with many of companies, and how can you see this collaboration?
I would say that in some cases we have very early adopters of the circular economy principles, but some of these companies also have a issue with, for example, with the legislation, because this was something that was developing. Actually, currently for the recycling, I think many of the environmental permits are freezed. Because there is a new regulation coming about the end of waste criteria, which we have halfly established in the past for the construction and demolition waste, but usually it goes from the case to case. So what I'm saying, these are like, for example, barriers that can hinder activities very much. But I don't know. I mean, what is important is that we are thinking about the circular economy as in the case of the good business case. Also, not just the sustainability has three pillars. And like I said, I think what was slowly happening these past 10, 15 years, maybe 20 years, now comes to one momentum, and let's see where we will go from this. Do we see now like a big burst of different circularity practices, and also the unification of the policies and marketing activities, or there will be some additional barriers? I cannot say, but it looks promising that the legislation will be more clear in the sense that there will hopefully not be many barriers for the implementation.
Thank you. Any other question? Comment? Maybe presenting situation in your country? If you are in construction?
Maybe just to add what I was saying about the momentum is also that currently we have this large infrastructure project which is ending the construction of the second railway, where it was the first time, something what we wished in the past, that excavated stone was declared as a byproduct, because it's inert. It doesn't have to be according to the REACH, but it can be so that I think is one of the biggest steps of large public investors doing the steps, because if the public investment gives a clear role, then also the whole value chain, the whole subcontractors or contractors of this large infrastructure project follows. But this also opens some new issues like this transparent traceability of the materials. So when you excavate, how do you say what kind of the quality of the material is? So again, opportunity for digitalization, I think, here. And now I will stop talking, because I like to talk about this, but I know that there is
I
a
know.
program.
That's why I invite you to this webinar. So if there is no further questions, I would like to thank Uroš Gunčar from NetDO for his presentation, and Alenka from ZAC, National Building Civil Engineering Institute, for insights in circular economy and circular construction in Slovenia. Of course, both are there. You can reach them anytime, being a new idea for a new project in any European program. This is especially important for ZAC because they're very active, also coordinating projects. And Uroš from NetDO to help you if you know some businesses which face this obligation of sustainable reporting, and try to get through all those standards and requirements, and they can help them. They do for as a business, as a service. And I would like to invite you to, I think the next week, the same time, similar time, there is another webinar, more or less circular economy in textile, as I'm not wrong. So please find the information online about that one. And at the end, thank you for attention. And I'm inviting you to apply for the second XBUILD call, of course. So thank you and have a nice afternoon. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.